Hey guys, it's Jacolia of Jacolia Gems, and welcome back to another episode, I guess you would say, of Hava Speaks. So, on today, what I'm going to do is make this very, very, very quick. I have another 10 reasons. And so, on today, it's you hate yourself, sis, bruh, whatever. So, these are 10 signs to tell that we are practicing self harm. So, with that being said, the number one way is unkind words to ourselves. Now, a lot of times, these unkind words can be something as simple as you're stupid. Like, why do you keep making the same mistakes? What's going on with you? Why can't you leave this job? Why can't you perform right? Why can't you leave this person? Oh my God, look at you. You're gaining weight. You made a mistake. You guys know what it is that I mean. When you find yourself speaking unkindly to yourself, whether it's verbally or inside of your mind, inside of your spirit, you will become that which it is that you call yourself. So we all have to be very careful about how it is that we speak to ourselves, because the words that we speak to ourselves becomes indicative by the actions that we take throughout our day-to-day life. And this video is for me too, because how else would I know these signs if these are some things that I have never experienced before? Number two, your eating habits. Now, if you find yourself eating less than normal and you normally have a big appetite, I'm not talking about you going on weight loss or dieting or trying to be healthier. I'm talking about you're normally a person that you have to eat and you find yourself barely eating, or you find yourself binge eating on sweets, on junk. If you find yourself overeating, a change in your eating habits a lot of times is a reflection of what's going on the inside. Number three, your sleeping pattern, your sleeping habits. Now we know in the spike of entrepreneurship and a lot of rich people will be like, oh, sleep is you can sleep after you rich. That's not okay. Our bodies run as machines. And in order to capitalize off of all of our endeavors, capitalize off of the full 12 hours a day and 12 hours a night that we have, we need rest. So if you aren't getting enough rest, if you struggle with insomnia, if you have broken sleep patterns, or if you find yourself oversleeping, not because of work or anything like that, but these are also signs and symptoms of you possibly dealing with depression. Or even if you are not a depressed person, if you just run yourself into the ground and you're just working, these can be traumatic responses as well. I know a lot of people who just go until their body crashes. They go to the point where they never invest back into themselves. That's a part of self harm as well. Number four, your hygiene, letting your hygiene go. And it doesn't always mean you walking around stinking. You could take a shower every day. But I'm talking about those of us who are normally have our nails done, our feet done, normally have our hair done, eyelashes on, eyebrows done, normally have on a cute outfit. Things that you would normally do, you stop doing. Or if it is drastic, getting just laying down all day and never taking a bath, going out the house like that, not investing in yourself, not putting your best foot forward for you and for you alone. So these can be signs of you not being kind to yourself. Number five, this is something that I struggle with drastically: overthinking. We could chop it up to being analytical and everything else, but majority of overthinkers are birthed out of trauma. It's because you've always had to wait for the other shoe to drop. You've always had to operate in survival mode. So you'll take an instance and you'll begin to overthink. You'll create instances that do not exist. You'll take a situation and you map it out for every possible outcome. And although, for me at least, this has been something great that's kept me from getting hurt as bad as I could, it is also something that will leave your brain in trauma mode, in trauma mode, in trauma mode. And when your brain is in trauma mode, this has to affect your body and affect your body one way or another. And so it could be a spike in hypertension that you aren't aware of. It could be suffering from migraines or autoimmune deficiency diseases and This can be affecting your sleep pattern and your health pattern and things of that nature, because you are constantly overthinking, and you're running your brain on a higher wavelength than it needs to run, because you aren't just allowing life to happen as it is. Number 6, lacking boundaries. A lot of us don't even realize that we lack boundaries. And lacking boundaries does not only mean that you ignore red flags in relationships, whether they be interpersonal relationships, familiar relationships, family associations. It means you allow people to come in and out of your life, or you allow people to say and do certain things that are telltale signs of how they feel about you. But because you lack boundaries, you chop it off to having a big heart. You let people, you find yourself giving with rarely receiving, or getting breadcrumbs. And because you lack boundaries, you allow these things to happen. Or on the other side of the spectrum, you become a person who you can't hear no, you can't tolerate no. You overstep by making uncomfortable remarks and having uncomfortable conversations and inappropriate candor and things of that nature with people that you don't have a relationship with. A lack of boundaries, even with self, will go into self-harming. You have people that self-harm via cutting. You have people who make themselves vomit um, after eating. So this is a lack of boundary with self. Number 7, keeping company with harmful people. Unfortunately, in the Black community, we've been taught to cloak for our abusers. We've been taught to hide the people that mistreat us. So, of course, it will end up being natural to continue to be friends with the ex that used to be beat on you, to continue to be friends with the female that betrayed you by sleeping with your husband. It's normal to continue to be friends with someone who's been in and out of your life and whom have violated you, because you are still seeking outside validation from others. And we do this under the guise of being forgiving people. And this is something that we're taught in Christianity a lot, because that's how people end up staying in churches where leaders have overstepped boundaries. Even in just the world day-to-day basis, when somebody does something to you and it's a pattern, we're always taught to forgive, but we never set those boundaries in place. And so we keep in company with people that are harmful to us, not realizing that that does more of a detriment to us than it does a good. So we have to know that there's a time and season for every relationship, and not bring ourselves around people who would even upset our nervous system by receiving the energy, literally the energy, because the atmosphere picks up on words, it picks up on deeds. That's how we create. So when you walk into an atmosphere that is not conducive to positivity towards you, your nervous system begins to pick up on it. Number 8, long periods of isolation. Now, I know a lot of us are introverts. Some of us are forced introverts. Some of us are situational introverts. And some people are just depressed and they don't realize it. Some of us have experienced so many broken relationships that we are always alone. And we chunk it up to, oh, I love me. I enjoy me. I can be alone. And this is something that's beautiful, because I feel the same way. Oftentimes, my children and I, the three of us, will be sitting in complete silence, and we'll be in the same room spending time together, but doing three different things. I'm happy in my alone space. I'm talking about when you're rarely around other people. And when you are around other people, it's usually just for the benefit of you, and then you go back to yourself. I'm talking about becoming a recluse to the point where you never leave the house, or you never venture out to make new connections. It's just me, myself, and I, and my small little bubble. That's not being a relational person. That's not being an intentional person. And especially if you are a person that's extroverted or charismatic, or you had certain hobbies and different things that you would enjoy, but you don't do those things. Or if you have found yourself being a person that's been isolated so long that you think that this is normal, we need one another. Number 10, this is the last one: rehearsing embarrassing moments. This is something my daughter and I talk about all the time, having secondhand embarrassment for a person, but also having secondhand embarrassment for yourself. Going back and replaying those memories in your head, and then you're cringing on the inside, wishing that you could turn back the hands of time. Why did I let them say that to me? Why did I act that way? Why did I embarrass myself? Why didn't I stand up for myself? Replaying moments that you can't control because time has passed. So when we do this and then we make another mistake, what we don't realize all the time is that we're building up a history with ourselves of being negative and talking down to ourselves. So when we make a mistake or a choice, because we're human, and then we hear someone else say these same words to us, it's familiar. And so outside entities are able to penetrate us. So you guys, that's my conclusion for today for How This Speaks. Let's be intentional about caring for ourselves, about loving for ourselves, about investing in ourselves. Until we meet again, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, and share this on your social media platforms. And above all, put yourself and the Most High first. Sacred space. Yes, you are.